Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, good to see you again. Last year, I introduced legislation to expand the caregiver support services that VA offers and to finally make the full program available to veterans of all eras. I'm going to be reintroducing that legislation tomorrow. Senator Collins is my co-sponsor on that, and I want to work with you to make sure we strengthen the program and make sure it has the resources it needs to take on an additional workload. I really was happy to see the department requested a significant increase in funding for that program, and I've also asked for additional resources for the department to hire more caregiver support coordinators. I wanted to ask you today, do you know how many more caregiver support coordinators you think you'll need over the next 2 years to support the current needs and to take care of new veterans of all eras coming into this program?
Senator Murray, I don't know exactly, but I do know we are very supportive of the legislation you've written. We think that pre-9/11 caregivers should get the same benefits post-9/11 get. I've spent a lot of time with caregivers myself. They are the unsung heroes of our nation.
Absolutely.
Many of them have to give up their jobs, and many of them have to purposely not take on work and not take on income because then they would fall out of the program. So it's a real conundrum for them, and it's life-changing for families. We've got to do this, and we are eager to take it on, and we're eager to hire the people we need. I've been to several college campuses. There are people who want to join the VA to do this job.
Yeah.
They're really eager to.
Good. Well, if you
We'd love to work with you on the legislation.
If you can let us know what you think you're going to need over the next 2 years,
We will.
Particularly with the addition of this, that would be really helpful. I think it's absolutely vital, so thank you. I also wanted to ask you about the Spokane VA Medical Center. As you are very aware, the emergency room at the Spokane Medical Center has dramatically cut back its operations because of staffing problems. And the medical center has repeatedly pushed back the date to resume full-time operations. And now I'm being told it isn't going to be until next fall. The Spokane VA has also recently asked for its surgical complexity rating to be downgraded, and I'm really concerned about that request and the potential impact on the access to care for our veterans in that region. Last year, I asked Secretary Shinseki and Undersecretary Petzel whether there were any plans to reduce programs and services at the Spokane Medical Center, and they assured me there were not. Yet, we now see this facility being downgraded. The medical center is not getting the job done, so I want to know what you're going to do to restore emergency services and surgical care for the veterans that rely on the Spokane VA.
So one of the big challenges that we've had, Senator, and we've discussed this previously, is actually recruiting top-notch.
I've been hearing that for 10 years.
Yes. Well, I'm meeting with the College of Emergency Physicians either next week or the week after that to try to see if we can help with them. The American Legion also has some ideas about how we might work with some of the hospitals in there, and we've also raised the available salaries that we can be paid to people there. Ultimately, if we can't recruit top-notch talent, I think we're going to need to explore some kind of partnership between the Spokane facility and local hospitals vis-a-vis emergency care.
Okay. Well, look, this has been ongoing forever, and it's not being resolved, and it's a huge issue for our Spokane veterans. So I want to talk with you again, Mr. Secretary. We've got to get this resolved however we do it.
While I know it's been going on forever, and we've accepted full responsibility for it, I've been to over a dozen medical schools recruiting doctors. I've been to the osteopathic convention recruiting doctors. We are the canary in the coal mine. We're seeing the problem that exists in American medicine. We need more primary care doctors. We need more doctors who will live in rural areas, and we need more mental health professionals. And we're working extremely hard to do that and to find them, identify them, and convince them, and then give them a monetary incentive to locate there. And we're going to continue to work very hard until we get that Spokane facility up and running.
Right. I really appreciate it. One other question, I just have a few seconds left. Right now, the Veterans Affairs Committee is holding a hearing on VA services for women veterans. I want to stress how critically important it is for the VA to prepare now to meet the needs of a growing population of women veterans. I was really pleased to work with Senator Heller to introduce the Women Veterans Access to Quality Care Act this year. That legislation is going to go a long way to helping the VA provide safe, private health care for women. VA already has a serious backlog in construction, but as the number of women veterans increase and as they age, there's going to be a need for more space dedicated to gender-specific care. So I wanted to ask you what the VA is going to do to meet the treatment space for women veterans over the next 10 years.
Some of our budget that was cut dramatically in the House markup was slated for women's clinics. We're installing women's clinics in our facilities. We're hiring the gynecologists and other specialties that we need in order to staff those clinics. And to us, this is critically important. 11% of veterans today are women. It's going to go up to 20% by 2017 or so. So we've got to get this done. Many of our buildings, as I said earlier, are over 70 years old. Some of them
They
even
don't have private space for women, I assure.
and they have single-gender bathrooms. We've got to get this fixed, and that's why our construction budget was as high as it was.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I am out of time. I'll submit the rest of my questions, but I really appreciate that. I want to keep
Without objection.
working with you on this.